ESPN's Monday Night Football is brought to you by GMC, official vehicle of the NFL and proud supporter of those who want it more. DLP, it's amazing. It's the mirrors. Dr. Pepper, with 23 flavors in every Dr. Pepper, there's more to it. And Chili's, break out of your rut at Chili's. Pepper in some baby backs, pepper in some fun.
Some of the visual images of this second Monday in November in Seattle. It's been all one-sided for the Seahawks. 24-0. I want to ask Steve Young here about what he's seen from Mike Holmgren, guy he knows very well. Maurice Morris loses a yard. Nate Clemens comes up to make the tackle, and Mike Holmgren, you spent so much time with during your San Francisco days, he said, I'm going to throw the ball, and by golly, he came out and threw the ball first drive and all the way through that first half.
Well, I think that, you think about the Seahawks, they struggle a little bit because they're in the Northwest. People are like, they don't have that definitive person on the team that you say that's, or a defense like Pittsburgh. There's nothing to define them specifically. And so I think they struggle because of that, and then they actually play like that up and down. Last week in Cleveland, they come back and play well here. I'm looking for that consistency, and Matt Hasselbeck has to lead that.
Hasselbeck's throw is complete to Bobby Ingram, who gets tagged with a gain of 6 yards. You think that because they're in the Northwest, they need an identity?
No, I'm just saying that people do forget. It's the East Coast law. We know that. But,
okay.
but they play in the West. They have to be almost 10-2 for someone to go, hey, look, the Seahawks. Right. So in other words, what is it that, if you don't pay attention to the team a lot, what is it that grabs your attention? And that's on the field. And really, they've been successful, but a little bit nondescript. And that's why the star power of a Matt Hasselbeck with Sean Alexander hurt. If they're going to do something this year, it's because number 8 is Superman. And I think that they need to start talking that way. Like, this is Superman. He's the top 5 quarterback in the league. He is going to lead us all the way. And he's done it tonight for sure.
Well, Coach Holmgren said he was going to put it on Matt's shoulders, and he has responded very well tonight.
3rd and 4. DJ Hackett was uncovered down here at the bottom of the screen. The called play was to Morris. They still get the first down. Just at the line. Let's check that mark. I think you're going to get it.
See Coach Holmgren? He's like, you dummy! Did you see he's uncovered?
Tell me what it's like to get the wrath of Mike Holmgren.
Oh, there was a time.
Here, you'll see it. Look at it. There's Hackett. Throw me the ball.
His head starts to turn red, and it turns, and it grows, and his neck grows, and the veins come out, and he's stuck on the sidelines. He wants to charge like a bull out to the left, and so he would call timeout just to yell at me, and I would stay in the huddle. He'd go, get over here. I'm going to put it. I wouldn't turn. I'd just stay. Get over it. He'd come halfway on the field, and you'd say, I'm not going near you until you settle down. Oh, I'm going to. Oh, he was awesome. Awesome guy to play for.
They did pick up the first down there. It was a great story in the Seattle Times about Holmgren and the quarterbacks, and you saying that once you just plead the fifth and just say, hey, I can't tell you. I can't say what happened.
I don't know what happened.
Exactly.
Well, you know him so well. He said this thing to us the other day about how a couple of young guys on the offensive line will probably be great for the next coach. And he allowed that this might be it. You know him well. Do you think this might be it for him?
I don't know about it. I mean, he's probably on the backside of it for sure.
He's on the back nine,
but everybody talks about it. Brett Favre's been talking about it for years.
And he's having his best year for an old guy.
So I think Mike, as long as he feels like he can compete for a championship, he'll stick it out.
From the 31, Maurice Morris gains 8. You mentioned Brett Favre. The team that's atop the NFC, the Dallas Cowboys and the Green Bay Packers at 9-1. Favre yesterday, the touchdowns, 3 of them in the 34-0 shutout of Minnesota. Only Favre gets that pass.
Yeah, that's right.
Became the second player, Marino the other, to go over 60,000 yards passing. Now 60,257. How much do you marvel at what Brett's done this year?
Well, I marvel at his stick-to-itiveness go through this downturn that he went through. There were times you do recall early in last year and the year before, it's like, boy, Brett might be benched. He's not. The team's not playing well. Should he come back? And a lot of Packer fans, don't do it. He's stuck in there, and look what's happening now. They look as good as I've seen him since 1999.
Morris the carry to the 47, gain of 8, first down.
But doing this at such an advanced age.
Well, no, wait a second. No way. In today's athlete, it is not like the days in 1970, 80 when I go into halftime at Tampa Bay and they're smoking in the locker room. This does not happen anymore. 38, 39 is the new 31, 32. Guys can play who stay in shape and stay healthy into their 40s and without loss. Everyone says, oh, Brett lost his fastball. You have got to be kidding me. No, he's not going to lose his fastball. What he'll do is lose his desire to play at the top of his game. That's what will finally have him leave the game. But it certainly hasn't happened yet.
But Steve, why for a couple years he was in a slump? He was making bad decisions. Why the epiphany in your mind?
Mike McCarthy's his old coach, just like Mike Holland, Marty Morningweg, Steve Mariucci. These are all guys that went through Green Bay that wrapped up Brett really tightly and said, look, Brett, you're going to leak oil everywhere anyway. We're going to wrap you up real tight with your footwork. We're going to really discipline you the best that we can, and that's were his best years. Mike McCarthy said this offseason, you start getting your feet back together. So you set your feet the best that he can and start delivering the football. You get more accurate, you make better decisions, you're more decisive. And to me, I saw him play this early this season. I said, that's Brett Favre with the wrappers on him. You know, he still breaks out, right? Because he's Brett, but he's got that. He believes Mike McCarthy's telling him the truth. I think he's gone back to the future with his fundamentals, and it's really paid off. And Jaws, I know you'd appreciate the fundamentals.
Absolutely, it's what it's all about. You have to play the position fundamentally sound.
2nd and 11, Hasselbeck throw, Hackett complete. At midfield, we have 3rd and 7 coming up. Ron, I want to bring you and Steve in on the conversation of Tony Romo, who had every turn, and now we're through a full year of Tony Romo starts, meaning a full 16.
Have we made it that far already?
We have 4 touchdowns, 247 yards, a couple to TO. The Cowboys at 8-1 like the Packers. Giants falling to 6-3, and Dallas with the sweep of the Giants really having a 2.5 game lead in the NFC East. Romo's play.
Phenomenal. You know, as I look at the tape on him, I see a quarterback that sees the field clearly. He knows what the defense is doing. He reads the blitz. He gets the ball out of his hand. But I think the most important thing he does and can do, and Steve would appreciate this because he was very good at it, he could throw the ball from different platforms. Didn't have to have that perfect pocket.
Seattle has to burn a timeout. Steve's thoughts on Romo's performance and which team is the best in the NFC after this.
And Yankee fans are like oil and water. Cubs and White Sox fans at the same dinner table? Bad idea. Despite their differences, fans do have one thing in common. Their heroes all wear Majestic Athletic, the official uniform supplier for all 30 Major League Baseball teams. Available now all over Europe at NASN.com.
This season, NASN brings you more live college football action than ever before. Start your weekend off with the guys on ESPN's College Game Day Live as the crew broadcasts from a different college campus each week and leads you into up to 3 live football games each Saturday. Chill out on Sundays with more first-run games and catch up on all the weekend scores and highlights on college football finals. And when things really start heating up, we've got top conference championship games and all the major bowl games live, including every BCS game and the national championship live from New Orleans. And if that's not enough, we bring you special midweek live games from ESPN and all the latest news, previews, and predictions every weekday with College Football Live, a 30-minute wrap-up show to keep you up to date. NASN is your only place to see all this great college football action. Log on to NASN.com for the latest schedules and information.
San Francisco plays St. Louis next week in the Bay Area, then at Arizona, at Carolina. They'll try to snap this 7-game slide. It'll be a 7-game losing streak after tonight. Hasselbeck has thrown it 40 times on the evening. And they'll hand off on 3rd and 6 with Leonard Weaver. He's going to lose a couple of yards. Isaac Sopoaga comes up with the play in for the injured Abrea Franklin. 4th down, they'll kick it away. And let's get back to Steve's thoughts on the performance from Tony Romo.
Well, I think you can see right away. His first start, you recall, was with us last year on Monday night. And that's the first time I've really seen him play football.
Yes.
And the way he moved in the pocket, the way he handles something. Hey, you know what? This kid obviously hasn't been watching the cheerleaders the last few years while he's been backing up. He's been paying attention. He's a good, you know, you can learn a ton of stuff by you know, in a backup role. And I think he obviously has all the talent and all the footwork. And I just love his savviness in the pocket. He seems to slide, find some time, and deliver the football. Because, Jaws, as you know in football, a quarterback, it's about delivering the football. And he can deliver it from multiple platforms. I love what you said there.
Ryan Plakemeyer kicks it. Michael Lewis lets it bounce. It's another one inside the 10. out of bounds at the 8-yard line.
What do you make of the fact that he's undrafted? He's doing so well, he's undrafted, and Jaws and I were talking about this before. Yep. You spend all the money on an overall #1 pick, and so many of them fail, and here's Tony Romo, you know, discovered basically behind a barn somewhere.
That's why quarterback scouts have no hair, too. Because it's really tough to know what's coming.
Qualified.
You take a guy like Jeff Garcia, who's had a lot of success in the NFL, went to Canada first. You talk Tom Brady. No one thought that Tom Brady was coming to the field in light. He's one of the best quarterbacks of all time. So now you talk about Tony Romo. It's a guy it's a football quality. I don't even know how to describe it. It's ability to say, look, I understand football. I can handle 22 guys on the field. I don't get overwhelmed by all the expectations in the NFL, and I'm a savvy game day guy. And if you have the stature, the ability, the height and the weight and the arm and the team, Tony Romo's got a good team too.
But can you
get that opportunity?
See that thing?
I think personally,
see it?
Jaws, I'll say it too. I believe I can. I know when Jim Druckenmiller was drafted in the first round and went out and saw him, it's like something's off, something's amiss, and he didn't end up making it in the NFL. Other guys, I say that guy can play.
And Tony, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I don't need it to be an arrogant statement like Steve was saying. I think the same thing. I've spoke to Phil Simms. We believe because we played the position, we could see the eyeball test and know if a guy can play. We could smell a quarterback when you look at tape, when you're around the guy, when you talk to coaches, you talk to his teammates. I think teams that invest hundreds of millions of dollars in quarterbacks don't spend the time, effort, or energy getting the right people to investigate the quarterback position.
Well, because there's so many things that are not about how hard you throw the ball. How, you know, they always get enamored by a guy that's 6'6" and can deliver the ball 70 yards from his knees.
Or he can
like, oh, let's pay him $25 million because he can throw it from his knees 75 yards.
Or he can run from the pocket.
Completely meaningless, as Joe Montana proved for a tremendous career.
Let me get to one other thing quickly, because you were Terrell Owens' quarterback at one point. What do you make of now the length and breadth of his career and the impact he's having with Dallas and his statements of how happy he is?
I believe he could have a Hall of Fame career, and I thought he put it in jeopardy by his antics. I believe he stationed himself in a place where he's got good stability, and I believe that he can now finish what could be a Hall of Fame career.
From the 8, Smith throws incomplete, intended for Vernon Davis. We need to let you go because you have a Sports Center after the game duties.
Oh, no worries. No.
Do you have,
keep Steve up here.
Way more fun.
Do you have a jacket? Are you going to tough it out? I had to go to the jacket.
Did you go to the jacket?
I got cold when you showed up. I got cold here. So.
You know what? The truth is, I had my jacket and I saw these guys. I'm going to tough it out. I almost went to shirt.
This is how quarterbacks are. Come on. They have to show how tough they are. The rest of us are allowed to be cold.
I got to work with a couple marshmallows up here.
Fun to be with you, boys. Fun to be with you.
Thanks for coming up, Steve. We'll see you with Stuart Scott and Evan Smith.
Awesome, man.
On the post-game Sports Center. Smith in trouble. Throws incomplete. Thrown to the ground as he tossed it. And we've made a headline of Seattle's inabilities on the offensive end tonight, or San Francisco's, I beg your pardon. What's on the news side of a good effort by John Marshall's Seahawks defense?
Yeah, and Alex Smith has been under duress pretty much most of the evening.
Most of it?
What? I said pretty much.
I'd say all of it.
Right. I think there were a couple times where he had a nice clean pocket to throw from.
That was Ellis Wims with the pressure there, and this is another 3rd down. And they're 0 for 9 on 3rd down tonight. Timeout. Lofa Tutupu, the face with Julian Peterson of this defense, shutting out the Niners.
They call New Orleans, Louisiana, the Big Easy. And last season, everything seemed to come easy for Saints quarterback Drew Brees. In his first season with the Saints, Brees led the NFL in passing and set career highs in attempts, completions, and yards. Number 9 helped propel the Saints to within a game of the Super Bowl. And this year, his team has its sights set on a world championship.
He's got the ball. It's a touchdown.
The greetings are different. The need to feel welcome is the same. You don't just stay here. You belong.
Hockey's not just a game, it's a lifestyle.
Join the Reebok revolution. Visit NASN.com, your home for North American sports merchandise.
I'm Dallin Hart Jr., driver of the Budweiser Chevrolet. This is your home for NASCAR.
Right next door at Safeco Field, a very nice greeting. Everybody's name spelled right. Michelle with one L as well.
Very nice.
Thank you to Kevin Martinez and all the guys over at Safeco Field, the Seattle Mariners.
Thanks, guys.
Always a pleasure to be here in Seattle, a great city. Seahawks trying to pitch yet another Monday Night Football shutout. Done it 4 times before. Smith throw on the sideline. Toes down by Battle. Catch made by Arnaz at the 26-yard line. They pick up their first third down conversion of the night.
Mike, and one of the things that Alex Smith does well is throw on the move. You know, at Utah, he came in that spread style of offense where he had to move. You can see right there, he did a nice job of moving in the pocket and getting the ball to Battle on the sideline.
The longest completion of the night, 18 yards. Kind of like Steve McNair last week. The longest completion before that was only 8 yards. That one 18. There's the completion to Moreeeee Hicks that gains just a yard. And remember, of course, that play that we, for some reason in my mind, I refuse to accept as a completion. The play at the end of the first half was...
Let it go, Mike. Let it go, will you?
That was a longer play. But that was just kind of a throw up the ball as long as you can type play. Still counts in the stats. For Smith, and here are his numbers for the night.
Those are brutal numbers for Alex Smith.
Vernon Davis, heard from. Tight end who was a first-round pick. Gets to the 32-yard line. We have a SportsCenter 30 at 30 now. Here's John Anderson.
All right, gentlemen. Vikings running back Adrian Peterson. He's out for Sunday's game against Oakland. Peterson suffered a LCL tear in his right knee. The good news here is that it's not season-ending, and he will not need surgery. Also, Yankees catcher Jorge Posada, still Yankees catcher Jorge Posada. The team agrees to a deal with the free agent just hours before their exclusive negotiating window ends. 4 years, $52 million. Hey, Joe Torre's already a catcher in L.A., right? Full SportsCenter right after Monday Night Football.
Thank you, John. Jordan Babineau was shaken up on the play. The Seattle safety who plays in the nickel comes off the field under his own power. Smith heads back out. Third and 5, just a hair too far away from Battle, who wanted a flag on Josh Wilson, a second-round rookie out of Maryland, who's opened the eyes of the Seattle coaches with his play here in the first half of the season.
Mike, this has been a continuation of the 49ers' offensive ineptitude all season long. Alex Smith coming into this game less than 50% complete. 14% of their catchable balls have been dropped, the most of any team in the NFL. It's clear they came into this game not playing well, and it continues.
Hey, Ron, they have scored 51 points in their last 24 quarters of play. Burleson with the return to the 23-yard line.
They have never once scored more than 7 points in any quarter all year. That's astonishing. They've got 10 touchdowns, I think, and Randy Moss has 12 by himself. I mean, there's just no offense. It's got to be a terrible night for Mike Nolan. I mean, given all that happened, the fact that he lost his dad the other day and his team comes out here and has nothing going on, you have to feel for him.
After scoring more touchdowns in a single season than anyone in NFL history, LaDainian Tomlinson looks to outdo himself in 2007. The reigning MVP and 4-time Pro Bowler is the league's greatest offensive threat, rushing for over 1,000 yards and catching over 50 passes in each of his 6 NFL seasons. Under new head coach Norv Turner, LT's production could continue to rise as he looks to lead the Chargers to their first Super Bowl title.
I'll trade you a Red Sox home jersey and a Rangers t-shirt for that Pirates jacket.
No way. I want that Cardinals hoodie and that Braves away uniform and an item to be named later.
You drive a hard bargain.
Majestic Athletic, the official uniform supplier for all 30 Major League Baseball teams. Available now all over Europe at nesn.com.
Pardon the interruption, but starting today, we're back on the air in Europe.
The guys at PTI are on board to enlighten us on the lighter side of American sports.
A certain, how did the French say, I don't know what?
What means I don't know what.
They even embrace European culture. Well, at least they're going to try.
Today, how did they say that in England, Mike?
No guess today, Maurice.
I guess that was very southern British. Good night, Europe. Here's the flags and the nation.
Pardon the interruption. Catch Mike and Tony exclusively here on NASN.
'49ers have held a lead, not at all obviously tonight. Coming into tonight, they've held a lead for only 12% of their games the entire season, lowest in the league. And that number will decline to right around the 10% line here tonight. So not only has it been a season of 2-7 after tonight, 7 consecutive losses, but it's been a season where they've rarely played from ahead. And that means a lot of things, including teeing off on your young quarterback. Meantime, Seattle has withstood the absence of Sean Alexander tonight. And for a while now, they've been without Max Strong, their fullback. Maurice Morris gains 10. And speaking of Max Strong, the fullback, he's with Michelle Tafoya.
Yeah, coming off his second straight Pro Bowl season, and then Mac against Pittsburgh, you get injured. It was bad. When the collision happened, how bad did you think it was?
You know, I knew it was pretty bad. It was something I never felt before. Just feeling pain and all throughout my arms and legs and into my toes and fingers. And so I knew it was something different.
And then you saw the MRI the next day. And when they told you what it was, what was your reaction?
You know, I was just, I was sort of, you know, in disbelief. But at the same time, it kind of explained what I was feeling. And then, you know, the neurologist told me, said, you know, you were very lucky to walk off the field. At that point, I was like, you know, I'm going to see if this is a second chance and a real blessing and just move on to other things.
A herniated disc and any additional collision could have severed your spinal cord, so you didn't want to take that. You retired, but you didn't necessarily want to be out of this organization. You went to Holmgren. What did you talk about?
Well, we talked about a way that I could still be around the team and still have an impact on the team. I didn't want to be a distraction, but I still felt like, you know, this is what I committed to this thing. I started it off, and I want to finish it. And so I just wanted to come out here and encourage the guys and help out with the running backs and just do whatever I can to help this team win.
And so you're in meetings and film sessions and practice, all the home games.
Right.
This week, on Thursday, you spoke to the team in a players-only meeting. What prompted that, and what did you say?
You know, I just felt like I have a different perspective, you know, after being away for about a month and being sort of on the outside a little bit looking in. I felt like I had a different perspective about things and where the team was headed. I just wanted to really encourage the guys that, you know, we're at a very pivotal point in the season, and we can really make strides to move ahead right now. We're still in first place in our division, and we can go out and play well this week and then get on a roll, and who knows what can happen by the end of the season.
So clearly, it was your speech, your motivation that has led to this shutout performance tonight. Hey, well, you know, let me ask you about the running game, because Mike Holmgren has acknowledged you were an enormous loss for them. And Sean Alexander has struggled. Tonight, Holmgren said we're going to throw it, and they have. Why has it been so successful tonight?
Well, I think, I mean, we have a great quarterback in my house back. We got outstanding receivers. And I think the passing game's been there. It's just the thing that's been clicking for us. And so rather than beating our head against the chop block and, you know, going out there trying to force the run, you know, take the things that teams are giving us, which is the pass right now. And the running game is starting to open up a little bit now.
What is next for you? You are going to finish what you started here, as you said, finish out the season kind of assisting and helping out the running backs. Coaching in the future? What's next?
No, I don't think coaching the problem. That won't be option number one. I won't say I'll never coach, but I don't see that being my first option.
Why not?
Well, I want to get to a point where I don't want to be away from my family that much. These guys, the coaches are away from their families a lot more than the players, and so I really like to stay around the game, though. You know, I'll assess what's going on with my neck in about the next 6 months and take those steps there, and then hopefully move it to the broadcast booth.
Aha! Well, Jaws and Tony, look out. Because I thought this interview went extremely well. And we'll put it on an audition reel for you, man. How's that?
I appreciate it. I'll take all the help I can get right now.
Neck's doing okay?
It's doing great. I feel great. I mean, it's the best my body's felt in about 15 years.
That's what a few weeks off will do for you.
Right.
Mac, best of luck to you. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Michelle.
Guys?
Michelle, thank you. Maurice Morris was stopped on the 3rd down. San Francisco took a timeout with 3:01 to go. The game that Max Strong was injured in against Pittsburgh was his 201st game with the Seahawks. That passed Steve Largent, second on the all-time Seahawks games played list to Joe Nash. And you talk about the good fortune of the injury happening to prevent a much more serious injury from occurring if he went back out. But Max Strong said, you know, thinking of Kevin Everett of the Buffalo Bills, who continues his rehab down in Houston, and we send our best wishes to Kevin. He said, no, I was lucky. I got to walk off the field for the last time that I played. He's the Pro Bowl fullback the last 2 years in the NFC. Michael Lewis, who was a Pro Bowl kick returner during his New Orleans days, pushed out of bounds at the 20-yard line. Remember, Lewis was the guy who's had to support his family, so he couldn't go to college. Ended up driving a beer truck and went from driving a beer truck to being picked up by the Saints and
Darn good job. Darn good job.
Become a Pro Bowl kick returner for New Orleans.
Hey, by the way, booth to sideline reporter Michelle. Maybe Max Strong could be a sideline reporter.
Oh, nice. Yeah. My buddy Marv Alberts at a couple of booths down doing radio. That would be serving up a facial, as Mark would say. Take that. So the Seahawks have 2:49 to keep the bagel on the board and get a shutout here against San Francisco. And add to a stat that you would not think Seattle would lead for the youth of the franchise and only making their 24th appearance on Monday Night Football. Pass is caught by Ashley Lalee's touchdown at the 32-yard line. Seattle's going for its 5th shutout on Monday Night Football. They already have more shutouts on Monday Night Football than any franchise in the 38th year of this series, and doing it in far fewer games than the Cowboys and Pittsburgh. Smith hit as he throws. Is incomplete behind Brian Gilmore, the 7th-year receiver out of Midwestern State. Ellis wins with the pressure.
And it was behind because Brian Russell, number 25, free safety for the Seahawks, was driving the inside, and it would have been thrown to the inside shoulder of the receiver. It would have been picked off. Good job by Russell.
A good point. We call fans the 12th man.
Should be 12th woman, not women. Should be woman.
12th person.
I think they were leaning for the gender neutral part, not the correct grammar part. We would English major, Tony?
I think so.
Yeah, delay of games, San Francisco.
Delay of game. You want that symmetry.
5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
You know, I did learn a couple new words tonight, though. Inert and devolved. You know, I hang around Tony and Steve. I get educated.
Alex Smith was a winner in his high school days. Helix High School, San Diego. He was with Reggie Bush in high school.
Bill Walton's high school, was it not?
Yep, correct. He was 25-1 there. Very successful run. You mentioned Ron playing out of the shotgun at Utah. Urban Meyer, the now Florida coach, was the coach there. That spread offense. Lofa Tachukwu got his hands in there and incomplete. Matter of fact, you look at his high school and college record, he was a combined 46-2 Helix High School and playing for the Utes in Salt Lake City. Jaws, it's not happening here. They'll fall to 11-19, and this is 30th start. And the question is, what's next?
You know, as you watch Alex, he can make some throws. You know, he's kind of the jack of all trades, but he's the master of none right now. He makes some throws, but he doesn't have all the throws, and he's not a passer yet. He doesn't know when to take something off the ball, loft the ball, put some air under it. Remember, he's still in his embryonic development stage for a quarterback in this league. I think this year is the first year I've seen Ben Roethlisberger become an efficient, consistent NFL quarterback.
Okay, I'm going to ask it again. He's the #1 overall pick. He is in his 3rd year. Some other #1 overall picks in their 3rd year, like Peyton Manning, you could see greatness. When you look at Alex Smith at that same level of development, do you see greatness? Do you see mediocrity? Do you have serious questions about whether he will be a good quarterback in the league?
Yeah, I have questions. You know, it hasn't transformed, you know, his high school and collegiate, you know, ability to win. I see some mechanical flaws in his game, but I do see the intelligence of reading coverage, throwing the ball to the right receiver. He just needs more repetition, and quite honestly, a better supporting cast.
This one's probably for the shutout. A deep ball downfield will be incomplete, and Seattle will take over at the 2-minute warning. Niners used to never get shut out. They're on their way here tonight.
We bring you college football's biggest rivalry this Saturday live on NASN. This is one of sports' most intense occasions as Ohio State and Michigan meet in a battle of pure passion and power with national title hopes on the line for the Buckeyes. Ohio State, Michigan at the Big House, live this Saturday only on NASN.
XGames.com is the year-round online destination for action sports from around the world. We've got the latest vids, bios, photo galleries, and news 24/7, 365. Moto, BMX, skate, rally, surf, and the exclusive home of the X Games. If it happened in the world of action sports, it'll be on XGames.com. Bookmark it and log on early and often. Anytime, any place. XGames.com.
These guys look fantastic. I'm so proud.
Join the Reebok Hockey Revolution. Visit NASN.com, your home for North American sports merchandise.
Live NHL continues this Wednesday on NASN. 2 Western Conference giants meet in the Lone Star State as Joe Thornton brings his Sharks to Dallas to face Mike Modano and the Stars. Live NHL, San Jose versus Dallas this Wednesday only on NASN.
Been to the top of the Space Needle, boys?
Yes.
I have not.
You haven't?
Is it nice? I've not. No.
I actually brought my daughter Jessica here to the Final Four a few years ago, and it was a great time in the city. Loved the city, and we went up top there. It was very cool.
It's pretty neat.
Mike says you can eat there.
Yes, you can.
Yeah. Have you ever eaten there, Mike? Is it a revolving deal or is it a sit-down deal? You don't move.
Don't remember. It does revolve. It does revolve, I am told. So take a knee. Remember the 49ers, guys, had scored in the most consecutive games in NFL history. They had scored in 420 games, 1977 to 2004. Every game they scored, and that streak was snapped by the Seahawks in 2004, and they will be shut out again here tonight by Seattle, 24-0.
You have to ask yourself.
I knew you had to add something.
You have to ask yourself, is Seattle this good? If you had to pick one or the other, is Seattle this good or is San Francisco this bad? What do you think?
I think San Francisco's pretty bad right now. Yeah. I think they have a long way to go.
On the offensive end, it's been a struggle. This is a night they'll have 6 first downs. That is the second lowest first down total in the league this year. The lowest, 5 by Baltimore last Monday night.
It's great luck on our part then, don't you think?
Well, we do get the Patriots in a few weeks, don't we? We can finally get some explosive offense.
You got the GMC Monday Night Football postgame with Stuart and Steve and Emmett. Cowboys-Packers talking about supremacy in the NFC. And where will A-Rod land? Is that left over from last week, or is that a current update on the story? No, it's a current update. Okay. So you guys will have that coming up. 24-0. The Seahawks at 5-4 lead Arizona by a game, and Mike Holmgren, as he did pregame, will walk over and shake Mike Nolan's hands. And as we said at the beginning of the game, the team struggles, and that's the football part, but it is just a game. And Mike Nolan and his family this week will continue to make their arrangements for the funeral for his dad, Dick, respected throughout the National Football League. And we all add our condolences to the family. Seattle gets Chicago here next week. San Francisco is home for St. Louis. Our final's 24-0. Thanks to our terrific crew on this wet, chilly night in Seattle for all their great work. With Tony Kornheiser, Roger Worski, Michelle Tafoya, Susie Culver, Mike Tirico. So long from Seattle. Titans and the Broncos next Monday night.
See you in Denver.